Yo, Skilly, is that? Yo, go up.
Gold Up is Raf and Zach, the latter Canadian, he with the beats and production chops, the former from France, living here and married to a Jamaican, the selector and local point man, both steeped in dancehall, teaming up thus far on 2 albums, Prelude followed by their latest, which was released in October, featuring Beanie and Busy, Lali and Nation Boss.
Tell mama this year me I go serve the dinner.
We met in Canada, in Montreal. I heard that somebody was making rhythm and I was a DJ. So we naturally link up.
To be honest, I took a trip to the States one time and I picked up a dancehall mix CD. And from that time, I kind of fell in love with it. You know, the first song that really caught me was Mr. Vegas and Lexus Taxi Fare.
The first single that we dropped for Gold Up was with Chensia.
What you got there, Titan?
It was 3 years ago. We dropped the first single in 2018. And then we never stopped until since then.
Like I mainly focus on the dancehall music, but it's not only that, like many different genres. So I feel being based outside of Jamaica, I have kind of like a, I wouldn't say unique, but it's a different approach, you know?
Hey, I never used to sing dancing song. No, I sing dancing song, the word that.
Bird with Lali, for example, right? Like you can tell it's not really on a typical dancehall style beat, right? It's like an Afro type beat. So just bringing the dancehall culture, like an artist, you know, over onto that type of rhythm, I feel like it changed the pace a bit, like in a sense that it brought something different to the table.
So that's why like we love afrobeat, we love reggaeton. But when you think about it, dancehall is the roots of all these genres. That's why it's very important to us to give credit to dancehall. That's the music we love. That's where I live to. And we're trying to make something interesting out of all these genres and create our own song.
Money at the shout all over the place.
Does it surprise people that it's 2 white guys who are sort of putting out all of this stuff?
Yeah, but you hear, as I say, like it's really the culture that chooses us and then cuts us, and then there's no remedy for it. You know, the music really choose us, and we're here to represent the culture and not using the culture.
So people are saying that the sound of dancehall has become so kind of trappy. Maybe it's not dancehall's moment right now, it had its moment earlier. But is there a basic problem with the structure of it, the sound of it?
I was on tour a couple months ago in Europe. And when I was playing the 90s dancehall, the vibe was there. I was playing Afrobeat, the vibe was there. Well, as soon as I started to play the new songs, I think people really couldn't keep up with the dance. They were not enjoying themselves. The lyrics are not very important because when you look at Afrobeat, we barely don't understand what they're saying. So I don't think the lyrics are the problem. I think it's more the vibe of the song, bringing that party vibes again. And that's why the Lego the Bird did so well, because we dropped it at the right time, right after the corona, when parties started again, and then it become what it become now.
Tonight I go day outside.
I think like one thing that Raf mentioned is that the pattern is a bit different, right, than what the typical dancehall or the foundational dancehall was, you know? So that kind of, though it's like taking off crazily here, you know, it's maybe not translating so much to the people who are listening to outside of Jamaica, you know? And we've been trying to make more danceable stuff, and like we saw what happened with The Bird, right? So we're trying to keep on that path and bring feel-good music.
And we have to stay real to ourselves too. That's really not our environment. It's not what we want to represent, you know? And that's why I say, like, we want to be real to ourselves and do music that we are proud of and we can spread, you know? I think it would be kind of a lying to ourselves and be trying to be somebody else doing darker songs, you know?
There is definitely a market for it, I would say, like without a doubt, even outside of Jamaica. But again, I think it comes back to that, like you said, it's dark topics, so it's less like party-ish, and the beat's different, so you know,
and it's something I think overseas people cannot relate. They know the music, they know Jamaica, they know dancehall, but the topic is something they cannot relate anymore there. It's not something that they're either agree with or that they want to hear. As I say, like, people, I think right now, especially during this time, they want to have fun, they want to forget their problem. We don't want to add up on them, you know?
As a producer, doesn't it make more sense for you to focus on something that's way more commercially successful right now, which is Afrobeats? Why not go in the direction like Afrobeats and reggaeton? That's racking up some serious numbers, and that could put more money in your pockets.
I agree, like it, but it's not where the heart is, like.
We're not sell out.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do what's trendy and like what's the hot thing right now. Like, for sure, like I enjoy listening to Afro beats and reggaeton and different genres.
And what we can do is also mixing the influence that we like. It's really trying to create something different than copying what people are actually doing.
Bye. Swear upon the Bible.
But what are the other things you're hearing about the current sort of sound coming out of Jamaica?
The dance part is a huge part. All the ding dong, all the lali, all the chi ching ching. This is what really work for dancehall overseas. The dancers community worldwide is huge, and I think a lot of people still use dancehall for dancing. But the songs that are big in Europe, the dancehall songs that are big in Europe or Canada are not the songs that are big here. It's completely different.
And what about the reggae scene over there? Is the reggae scene the bigger scene in terms of a much wider audience for Jamaican music?
Yeah, so that's what I started to play reggae. I was born in the reggae, rubber-dub, 70s, 80s. So I know the foundation, and that's huge. It's still huge in Europe. That's what they're still listening. And the dub was also the dub blow up in Europe, and everybody build their own sound system and stuff like that. And you see the artists that are touring the world that nobody are listening anymore here.
It's not to say like throughout the time that I've been producing, we've never made trap out. Like, I'm responsible for some of the like biggest songs that came out, like by Cartel. I made the beat, CT Scan, got Stand Strong by Cartel, Superhero Love, Thank You Mama.
She told me, son, stay out.
Those aren't necessarily darker sounds, but it's more in line with the trap dancehall type of patterns and stuff. And did a lot of work with Idonia and For Jenna crew. Monopoly by Alkaline. I worked with DJ Smurf, also GPS Rhythm. There was Chronic Law and Javelani on that. The Dark Clouds, that's another one with Idonia. And Governor and TJ had a song on the same beat.
When you tell people this stuff and you name the rhythms and name the songs, people are surprised, they're taken aback.
I'm just living in the moment. I'm surprised myself about how to the point that I've reached. So I just want to keep going and keep making people surprised and doing what I love.
That's also the reason we created our own label. Because before, when you were working with other producers, it was sending rhythm, but it cannot really, in the long terms, it's not gonna be something it can benefit long terms. The fact that we created our label, it was way harder for us to get big artists, but we put in the work, and then now we have our label, we have our sound, and we can drop our own music. It takes longer, but at least it's our music, and people can know that it's gold up behind it.